Hello. So actually, before we go into today, something very extraordinary happened to me yesterday. I've avoided sports my whole life because every time I was past the ball, it was just a legal excuse to trample me or kick me to death on the football pitch or the rugby pitch. I didn't like it. I discovered smoking and poaching the local trout farm at school. So I really just spent my life avoiding sports. And everyone goes, God, you're not really, it's the World Cup. What's wrong with you, Val? You're not really rallying round. I go, well, look, I'd rather be fishing. Or isn't it nice to have London to myself when everyone else is in the pub making a din over some men running around cooking a ball around? And then yesterday, I was encouraged to just get with it and sit down and watch the match. And my goodness, I absolutely loved it. So apologies that I haven't been rallying round. You should be there even if we didn't make it to the end. And so moving on, I'm going to make a messy of my own. And sorry, that wasn't funny. And cook something suitably left field, as you've come to expect. So what is in the pot, Val? An ox tongue is what we're having today. Now, this coloration on it makes you think, kind of, that's gross, but that's just the pigmentation of the cow's tongue. This one has been cured in salt and sugar, and then it's been smoked. So this is a smoked ox tongue. But despite the fact it said smoked, that doesn't mean it's cooked. We're all feeling squeezed at the moment. Yet we don't eat things like this, which are actually really cheap. This will feed a family of 5 or 6 even. But we become so squeamish about everything that we don't eat this stuff anymore. And it's not grandfather and grandmother food of history. This is delicious, prime meat that we should be enjoying. And I love this kind of thing. It's so tasty. And all these bits have done a lot of work. The cow's tongue has been munching away. And it's really, really flavorful, extremely soft and tender, nothing tough about it at all. But we just go, it's a tongue, I'm not going to eat it. Okay, so first, tongue going into some cold water. 2 bay leaves. About 6 or 7 peppercorns. Spring onions. Ta-da. And then this grozzle is from our distillery in Northumberland. So this is juniper and fennel seeds and coriander seeds and all sorts of wonderful stuff, licorice. So after the booze has been distilled, this is all the kind of detritus in the bottom, which is still extremely flavorful and very handy. So I'm just going to put some of that in. And now that tongue will want to kind of braise slowly for about 2 hours.
So what did you say? Well, I told him that if it's beef he's looking for, he's come to the right place. And what did he say? He said he was sorry. No fight? No drama? No nothing? Nothing. Ooh, something's not right, gal. Something's not right.
Right, so that's off.
How long's that been cooking for?
That will have been cooking for about 2.5 hours, and I'll show you what you want. So when I take this fork and I push it in, there should be a little bit of resistance, but you kind of know it's soft and tender. You don't want to overcook it so it falls apart, because now it's going to go on the grill and get cooked again. We're going to peel the tongue. So take a sharp knife and then just make a little incision. Don't cut too deeply.
Why do you peel it?
Well, because you don't. Come and have a look here, Paul. This is where you need to be close. That is why you peel it. This is not tasty. And it's much easier done when it's warm than when it's cold. This is like sandpaper. It's really rough. So when they've got a mouthful of grass, this helps kind of mulch it all up. So this is the kind of sandpaper layer that the cow pushes all the grass against the roof of its mouth and pulverizes it. So you want to take this off because it's not nice to eat. Look at this, it's a beautiful thing. Look at this prime piece of meat, look at that.
tongue, or we've all got tongues and we know what a tongue is.
Maybe, but then we've all got fillets, and we've all got kidneys, and we've all got livers, and so I don't see why any part of any animal should be any different, but maybe, as you say, it's something that's more personal, the tongue. I don't know what it is, but this is meat, and if you're going to, kill something, you need to eat as much of it as you can to honour it, because these are things we should all be enjoying, and I'm going to take a little slice of this now. Look at that, utterly, just cuts like butter. Look, and then, how could anyone not like that? It's smoked, I guess anything smoked or anything deep fried is always delicious. It's got that kind of slightly bacon element to it, the smoking, but it's properly tasty meat. It's super tender, and I know what Paul's going to say. He's going to say, what can I say? But there you go, Mr. Cameron, before we do anything else to it.
What can I say?
Right, so there's another thing we've got to get on with, because I've lit the fire outside, and so we've got to be moving on. So I'm going to keep that, I'm going to strain it, and that'll be an amazing base for a stew. So next, 1 pan, 1 tin of Guinness. Oh, by the way, cold weather, buy some of my slow gin, much better than everyone else's. Put 15-20 mils of slow gin in the bottom of a glass with 2 cubes of ice, and then top up your glass, probably a glass like this, about that big. Top it up with Guinness, slow gin in the bottom, absolutely delicious. Right, what's next? Mustard. So a big spoonful of hot English mustard. More than those couple of dashes of Worcester sauce, a good slug, probably about a tablespoon vinegar. A large, in fact probably actually I'm just going to go in my hands, probably about 3 tablespoons, heaped tablespoons of brown muscovado sugar. So it tastes like raw sugar, more like cane sugar, more like black treacle, but not quite as, intense as black treacle. But that's muscovado. And then an industrial, as I always say, bombardment of black pepper. Look at that, you can see how much pepper's there. And then we want to make it hot with ginger. And the best way to peel ginger is with the back of a teaspoon. A lot of ginger in here. It should be hot when you eat it. Hot, hot. And all that ginger just goes in like that. Tongue and ginger and beer, it reminds me of that kind of, 18th and 17th century cooking. And these are wonderful flavours, the rich, thick, savoury thickness of the Guinness, the stout. And then, kind of molasses sugar that goes very well with that black Guinness, and then hot ginger and hot pepper. The weather's cold, and I imagine you've come off your coach through the mists on the common, and you go and sit down on some very uncomfortable wooden furniture in a place that smells a bit with sawdust on the floor and cackling and the clink of beers, and you order tongue with beer sauce, and life is good. Right, okay, so that's just gonna tick over, hopefully not boil over. And it's time to treat the leeks. Now, the leeks have been washed. I don't want to put anything on them at all. And we're going to cook these until they are black as night all over. So these are just going straight over charcoal. I'm grilling in the rain. I'm grilling in the rain. That is because I'm totally insane. Actually, hold on. I need to just budge this around. There we go. I always have at least a whole bin full of charcoal because I grill so much. And then these leeks just go on like that. Because the heat coming off the grill is so fierce that it kind of sizzles. It would go out if it was stronger than this, but I think we'll be all right. I think they probably... And then move that back a bit. You like the way we roll here? It's a very manual, analog sort of house. Keep the digital back.
Aggie's not doing it, so no.
Aggie, no. You're a fair weather hound. Right, so the leeks are on. Look at what the sauce has become. It's become really thick and syrupy. You don't want to over reduce it because you've got to have enough to keep on painting it while it's on the barbecue. But look at the colour. I mean, kind of mahogany, black mahogany kind of. Yum. Look at that. Look at that. Nice and thick. Some salt. The secret spice drawer. Can you see ground coriander? Ah, joy.
What does that add?
Do you know, it adds that wonderful nutty burnt orange taste, coriander. And then a bit more of the brown sugar. And I'm making a kind of powdery layer for the tongue so that then when we put the sauce on it, it clings on a bit better. A bit more black pepper. And here is our sauce. Oh my God. That is so interesting. It's almost like a kind of, it's almost like a chewy sweet. The consistency is nearly there, but it's hot and gingery and just, it's dark, mysterious, hot and gingery and on smoked meat. It's going to be bonkers. It's actually reminding me a little bit in a way of Caribbean cookery and all those kind of flavour matches in the West Indies. Spicy ginger, lots of pepper, smoke. It's really, really good. Right, just check my leeks first. They're looking good. They're looking very good. Grilling in the rain. Tongue on. Ooh, sizzle. Sizzle. When you cook on charcoal, so often people start cooking when there's flames leaping up. You're just going to burn the outside of the meat. You really want to wait for it to be dyed down grey orange embers. Here we go, Paul. First layer of barbecue grozzles going on. I mean, that looks good and it hasn't even crisped up yet. It's about building up the layers, paint it on, burn it, get it to stick, then lacquer it some more, and lacquer it some more. And it really does. I mean, look, that is, when they use the word lacquering, look how shiny and delicious it looks. Now, you've got to watch out when you do see flames because you don't want all those sugars to become bitter. Just move that away a bit. That'll brown quite quickly. That's 10. Oh yeah, there it goes.
Have you ever barbecued in the snow?
Yes, many, many times. And actually, where I've done most of my barbecuing in the snow is Norway, where I work a lot. And in March, when I go up there for the cod season, be outside in 2 foot of snow, cooking some delicious piece of reindeer or cod over juniper wood, or maybe a bit of their feral lamb. The snow wandering down. It's lovely, very romantic. Oh, nice and black, great. Get those ready. You're kind of meant to peel the leeks, but I really actually like the burnt skin. You can smell the burning pepper. You can smell the ginger, the caramelizing sugar. You want that sugar to kind of caramelize, basically, like this. This is getting there.
How do you know when the leeks are done?
The leek, because you basically should be able to push a knife in and it just slide, almost drop a knife through them. Slightly beginning to crisp layers of, in effect, stout and sugar caramel on it. That's when it's ready, when it's caramelizing. And it's going to come off any minute now, so I might take this umbrella down because it's stopped raining. Now we're going to test our leeks. And look, the fork just pushes straight through them with no resistance. Yeah, those leeks are lovely. Ooh. Ooh. We're now going to go and put a happy plate together. Ah, doglet, you know when some delicious meat's been cooked. Okay, so a spoonful of the hot mustard. And this is violently hot, this mustard. Good English mustard. I normally veer towards the Dijon, but that's hot. And then one of my favourite things in the whole world. The pickled walnut. Picked in their green stages and boiled with sugar and vinegar. And then the leek, which I'm just going to take off the really black layer. Leeks, again, another of my favourite vegetables. Look at that, this is just looking beautiful. The leek just needs a little bit of salt, just a little bit of oil. The time of reckoning. Okay, so it's crunchy, the top is crunchy. I'm cutting through the sugar. That wonderful smokiness. The tender, giving tongue. So delicious. Caramel of stout. You can taste the ginger. You can taste the black pepper. I'm now having everything together. Look at that. The some parts. You want some too, do you? The minute you put that leek allium element into it, it just gets even better. A little kind of rapier prick of bright pickled walnut, some hot mustard, and that is just, it's just sensational. I would actually rather eat tongue than a piece of fillet steak. Now, after something this rich, if you want something more salad based, then please go to our Patreon site and discover probably my most favourite salad in the world. It's been a joy. Love and tongues.